Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to the Pretty Rich Teacher podcast. I am so excited to chat with y'all today. We have lovely ladies in customer success. So if y'all did not listen to the Teachers and Sales podcast panel, y'all are going to love this one as well. So we already interviewed teachers and sales, and now we're going to be talking about teachers and customer success. So all of these lovely ladies were in my program and they are living life outside of the classroom. This has never been done before of having teachers outside the classroom. So I let them know they are making history right now. And our goal of this podcast is for you all to see yourselves within the diverse group of women that we have. So yeah, let's get started. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna start with Amelia, Bunke, Keisha, Whitney, then Darian in that order. I'm gonna have y'all introduce yourselves. You all probably recognize Funke from her individual podcast. Um, Everyone else, they did not get their podcast yet, but they will. So stay tuned. But I'm going to have everyone just introduce yourself a little bit. And I'm going to start with a spark question. We're going to get straight into it. I want you to kind of just tell us why you decided to leave education and how life is now. We'll get to the middle part after, but what was your biggest reason why you left? Maybe one of your biggest fears, and then what's most exciting about your life right now? So let's start with Amelia, and Amelia is brand new at her new role. So we'll start with her.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Amelia. I am brand new, and I just started my new position as a CSM for a tech company. I live here in Florida, and I literally just started last week. So I am still in the process of the onboarding, but already my nervous system feels so much calmer and I definitely am super excited for the growth that this company has to offer. The reason I wanted to leave school was my background is I was actually a school counselor for almost 4 years, and that alone is just like wow, like the burnout was crazy. 'Cause I didn't even make it to year 10,
Yeah.
but I definitely had to reflect a lot because I'm really passionate of being a mental health advocate and helping students, but I really was thinking about I felt like I was kind of, like, in a box throughout my career of how I can help at a larger scale, and, I was thinking about all the skills I have because outside of that, I also do mental health counseling and I'm also a big fitness enthusiast. So I do coaching as well. And I was like, how can I do the things I love while also trying to build stability because I am independent and I want to create that for myself. So I found jazz on TikTok and I was like, I don't fall for a lot of things, and jazz just had me hooked on the first one, and I was just like, I have to." So I invested in her course, and I have did not look back, and I learned a lot, and she's prepared me for my new career, so here I am.
Yes, and one of the favorite things that I love about Amelia, when I did her resume, she was like, "I'm getting a job." She's like, "I'm totally getting a job." And I was like, "I love that." She was like, "I am getting a job," and that's exactly what she did. So, yay! All right, okay.
Hey everybody, I am Funke. I am here in Texas and I am, of course, a CSM. My title is Client Service Associate. I'm a level two for an amazing company. I am finishing up month 7, so it's been interesting. Um, like Amelia said, my nervous system is extremely calm. I'm enjoying a lot of downtime, free time, vacationing. Just got back from Thailand with my babies. So that was amazing, a 2-week vacation. The reason why I chose to transition out the classroom was because I was a sped teacher, self-contained for 16 years. Anywhere from mild to severe disabilities. And my last 3 years, I was a behavior teacher in high school. So I was tired of tackling kids and wrestling kids and wrestling parents. Also was a caregiver for my mom and grandmother after they both passed. I realized that I've taken care of everybody but myself. So it was time for me to transition and take it easy for a little bit. So, like Amelia said, up scrolling on TikTok one day, I see Jazz bragging about her vacation and money that she's making. I'm like, that needs to be me. So did my call in March, told my husband, hey, I'm serious. Of course, the support was real, and here we are. So I appreciate Jazz and everybody else on this call. So
Yes, K was also done with me because I was like, "Girl, I am not doing your resume or nothing until you sign up for some therapy because we got a lot of things." And she fought me on everything. She's like, "I don't wanna practice for no interviews." And then I tricked her into interviews. So she's living her life. So I'm so, so proud of you, girl. Like, I love talking to you. I'm so excited.
thank you, thank you.
I'm so full of joy, and Funke does not know, but people y'all refer to her podcast so often. So y'all, this podcast is already gonna be your favorite podcast of this year. Let's go to Miss Keisha.
Hey, everybody. So, my name is Keisha. I am also in the Texas area. Uh, man, man. Where do I start? Yeah. If you've been in the game and you've watched enough videos, Dr. J over here lets you know that you will not do anything until you go to therapy. Believe me, I tried. I promise you I tried, y'all. I did. I gave it my honest effort. Every time something came up, but we pulled through and we made it. I am now an implementation manager for an amazing ed tech company based out of North Carolina. Love the people, honestly, amazing team. And yeah, I physically, like, you can physically see the weight that was taken off of me. And I didn't necessarily, I wouldn't say I had a super hard role in education. Started out as a science teacher and a coach, eventually transitioned to being a PE teacher and a coach. So I guess more tedious hours more than anything, emotional investment. If you have held that coach role in education, you meet the kids at a different level and you meet your parents at a different level, right? I see you 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to see you 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm going to see you all day on Saturday. I can't even remember the last time I did not have a volleyball tournament on my birthday. So I am now leaving the happiness of my next year in the hands of 13-year-olds. Please don't make me a loser my first day here in my new year, is what I would ask them every year. So it was definitely taking a toll when asked about my why. It is a sweet little 7-year-old who made me a mommy. I was not prepped and ready for that part of my life either. And next thing I know, I've got a little human staring at me. I'm staring at her and I'm like, I need to provide for you. I have to keep you alive. And so that's kind of how I re-entered the classroom after taking a hiatus for a couple years. And it just really came down to I wanted to choose life over anything. I wanted to choose. I wanted to choose. I wanted the option. If I want to go have lunch with my daughter, I would like that option. If I want to take a vacation for my birthday, I would like that option. If I want to wake up and take every call in my pajamas, I would like the option. And just having that freedom of life. The year of transition for me was really crazy. I saw a lot of death. I saw a lot of death, and it put things in perspective very quickly. You really can wake up tomorrow and you wouldn't know. You could take your last breaths and you wouldn't know. You could say I love you to somebody for the last time and you wouldn't know. And just it kept hitting me like waves. I'd be cool, I'd be up, I'd go back down. I'd be cool, I'd be up, something else is sad. And then here goes Dr. J. You need therapy, Keisha. Dr. J. I know. I'm trying, man. I promise you. I'm talking to somebody. I hope somebody hears me because I'm talking, I promise. And then it just kind of landed. I was walking to the copy room. It was a soccer game. My classroom is on the inner workings of my building, so I didn't actually see the outside world. until I walked down that hall and saw that it was raining. And now we have a soccer game in the rain on a Friday. I said, well, this is absolutely tragic. Let me make these copies. And as I'm doing it, I look at my phone, I see a LinkedIn message. I'm iffy on it because I had gotten a LinkedIn message before and I actually was stood up. I was sat on the call for 30 minutes. No one ever came. And I was like, wow, this is tragic. Guess I'll go back to practice now, you know? And so was just kind of going through the motions. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to reply back because I know if I tell Dr. J that this person has reached out to me and I didn't say something, she's going to lecture me. And I didn't want another lecture because eventually therapy is going to get weeded back in there. I know it is. I don't want to hear that again. So I'm going to message them back. And about a month later, we got the job. We went on like a 2.5 week ice storm. And that was during like the final parts of my interviews, and came back from that ice storm and turned in my resignation letter like, hey, my last day is in like 7 days. I still had some days to use up. You best believe I used them days. I said, all right, y'all, I'm going to catch you at the game tonight. I'm going to be off today, though, because I got some days I got to burn before I'm out of here. And I was wished off with nothing but love and, just to have a school and an admin team and a coaching team that was so supportive of like knowing where I was mentally at that transition was all I could ask for. And, I tell Dr. J all the time, she did for me in 4 months what I was trying to do in 4 years. And so I can't thank her enough for her guidance and her patience and just being my cheerleader, even though I was definitely hanging on by a thread. We kept going, I'm having breakdowns because my hair doesn't look right. Now I got to go out in the hallway in my bonnet and they're going to talk about me. And yeah, it was a lot. And, she stuck through me with it all. So I appreciate her and I'm very happy to be here today.
Yes, Keisha is my example of Keisha was, like, on 10 all the time,
Yeah.
but she still made it work. She's like, "When I saw that money come out my account," she's like, "I'm not playing around.
Baby,
I'm
that
gonna."
575. I paid my last 575 this month, guys. Final investment made, and I would do it all over again. I really would. I
Yes.
really would.
No, for sure, we're gonna circle back because Keisha, like, people tell me they're busy, but you're busy, busy with, like, coaching. Like, you were actually a coach, go sports. I don't know nothing about sports, but that I was an athletic director, and I was like, I don't know how you do that. So for her to be a coach and teaching and be a mom and be a wife, everybody can do it. So we'll come back to you. Miss Whitney, and before Whitney talks, so if y'all listen to my podcast, Jazmyne, the girl who got a job, I said the girl. Oh, the woman, my new client success coach, the one who got a job in 6 weeks, that is her sister, Whitney. So y'all are seeing legacy, sibling, all the stuff. Whitney, introduce yourself, girl.
I'm Whitney, and I am the sister, the big sister. Um, but let's see. So I'm a CSM. I work for a company based out in California. I'm in Atlanta. And I love the company, love the people I work with, great team. I love what we're doing. I decided to leave because I was burnt out. I was tired. I was tired of the commute. I was tired of not having any type of freedom. I was tired of being tired. I was just tired. And although I wasn't like a coach or anything like that in my role, the school that I worked for, it was a very progressive school and you had a lot of like complete autonomy. There was a lot of things that were not in place. So we were tasked with creating those systems. So I had to create that reading curriculum. I had to make the scope and sequence for like all the things. And it was just a lot. And so now I'm doing all these things. I also have to teach you. I'm your counselor. We didn't have a system or supports in place for students that needed therapies and help and things like that. That was on us. It was just too much. And although I love my students, I love what I did, it was just too much. So, I remember one of my friends, and at one point I was like, I don't know what I would even do. Like, I have mental health counseling background, now I'm a teacher. Like, unless I get another degree, what am I going to do? And I want to get a degree, but I was like, not right now. I just want to chill. And I want more money. And one of my friends said, you should look into ed tech. I was like, what is that? What is that? And that's when I learned about like instructional designers and ed tech, and they want teachers. I'm like, huh? So then I went on TikTok University trying to learn. I found Teacher Quick Talk and just did a deep dive in everything, ed tech and what can you do as a teacher. And I tried really hard to figure out on my own, and I kept feeling lost. And I did that thing like, okay, I'll give it one more year. I'll give it one more year to see if I still want to stay in education. I'll give it one more year to see what I'm going to do. And that was one of the worst years ever. Like it was horrible. I found myself just like I didn't have anything left in me. I had nothing left in me. And if anybody knows me, they know that I give a lot. And so for me to just have like nothing to give, I knew I was done. And so I went back on TikTok University one day and I was like, you know what? I have all this time in the car. So I have an hour and a half to commute. We're gonna find some podcasts and people to listen to when we're stuck in Atlanta traffic. And the first day I hopped on, I found Jazmyne's TikTok. I was like, "Who is this girl? I didn't even know I was even following you because I have followed a bunch of coaches in the past and then fell off." I was like, "Man, she's great." I like her personality. I'm listening, and I found you had a podcast. I sent the podcast to my sister because she'll say that she found you first. She did not. I said, "Listen to her. She's amazing. This is what we need." I have the receipts to prove it too. And I was like, I know you don't like podcasts, but she has podcasts, and I already listened to one of them, and it's like it gives you step by step what you need. So even if we can't buy or whatever, we're gonna figure it out, okay? So I'm listening every morning. Every morning I listen to your podcast. Every morning I would take notes. Every time the car got stopped in traffic, I'm taking notes. I'm writing in the notes, pause and then play, pause and then play. And I remember I took your quiz because I was like, well, now what do I do? I don't know, what do I choose? And I took the quiz. I got CSM. I was like, I don't want that. I don't know why I didn't want it. It's like, I don't want that. I tried to trick the quiz and I still got CSM. I was like, dang. And I was been talking to my therapist about the whole time. And I remember telling her, like, this is where I'm at right now. And I feel like I'm kind of more in like sales and consulting. I don't know. But I keep getting CSM on this quiz. And she's like, well, what do you think? And so we talked about it. Soon as I got out of my car from my therapy session to go back on campus for carpool duty, I ran into one of my old parents that I worked with. And I knew he was like a lawyer at one point, and I knew he did something else, but his life seemed amazing. Him and his wife, we talked a lot up until that point about like, what do you do? Next step, business, and all the things. And they were really helpful. And I knew he was out of town because his son told me, and I was like, hey, what's up? You're back. He was like, yeah, what's up? It's cool, cool, cool. I was like, what do you do again? And then he was like, I'm in customer success. And when I tell you my heart dropped in the best way, and I just kept having this feeling like, ask him, ask him, ask him. And so, but I had to be careful because I worked at a private school. And if you know anything about private schools, your families are still like, those are your business people, those are your stakeholders. So you got to be careful about how you speak and what you say because they can spread it like the gospel. And next thing you know, your head of school was like, I heard you was trying to go, and why are you talking to these people and scaring them away? So, but I trusted him. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna take a leap of faith. I was like, I'm thinking about that. And can you help me with that? And so then he talked me through it. I tried to take all the advice and do it on my own. It still wasn't working. My sister was over there struggling too. And then we both decided, okay, we're gonna go work with Jazmyne. So we signed up to work with Jazmyne. And I remember in my meeting with you, you were like, I think you said something about like thinking on it or something. And I remember saying, I don't have any questions. I already know I'm about to work with you, girl. It's just a matter if you're gonna take me on as a client or not. But I started and I have not looked back since. Since I have transitioned, at first it was a little challenging, not because of the job, it's just because of me. Um, just trying to figure things out. But overall, I feel like I'm in a much better place. I have more time freedom. If I need to go to my son's school to volunteer, I can do that. If I need to go to a coffee shop at work, I don't have to sit in my house. I don't even have to wear regular pants if I don't want to. I can do whatever I want. Yeah, and I can do it from the comfort of my home. And I love that. That alone. And if I want to travel, I ain't gotta take off work. I can travel and work. I've done that. And that's amazing because in the past, teacher, like you can't take off. And it's harder to take off than it is to go to work because the sub plans alone will get you. So And then the teacher guild. Oh God. So it's been great. And I can't thank you enough for all that you poured into me. Thank you, Jazmyne.
No problem. Last but not least, Darian.
Hi, my name is Darren. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Okay. My
Yes.
name is Darian. I'm also here in Florida. I am a solutions consultant. And I just want to start off by saying this is my third week in my new position. And I'm just really amazed by how I am not overwhelmed. Like, I am even though I'm being thrown a lot of information to have to learn about my company, I am chill. They keep asking me like, "Hey, are you okay? You overwhelmed?" I'm like, "No." Like, I'm learning a lot, but I'm good. I'm honestly good. And it just makes me think back to when I was actually a teacher. I was stressed every single day. I was overwhelmed. And I think what I really like about being in my new position is I'm able to actually think, have a thought. Because when I'm teaching, you got kids coming at you left and right, 1,000 things to do, and I can actually form a thought, and that's letting me be relaxed, at being able to like think things through. And that's something that I really am enjoying about my job. Um, just being able to think, I can learn anything. I can learn with quickness, apply it, whatever, and I'm good. And one of the reasons why I left education is just being overwhelmed, just being stressed with the different teachers, the parents, whoever. I was coming home tired, didn't want to do anything. I'm gaining weight because I'm stressed. I'm eating all types of crazy. I'm just all over the place. But now I'm a lot better. I mean, after this, I'm going to hot work. I'm about to go exercise. I got energy. I'm just doing my own thing. Um, and I'm really enjoying that. But getting back to how I got into the program, me being stressed, like everyone else, I came across Jazmyne on TikTok. And I'm like, who is this? She talking about, you can work from home, you can have the freedom, you can travel, this, that, and the third, and make more money. I'm like, okay, let me watch you. I watched her for a while now, maybe like some month. And I'm like, let me go ahead and do it because something happened. I'm like, I'm sick of this. Let me see what she's talking about. Met with her. I listened to what she had to say, and everything just made sense. I'm like, I can do this. So let me go ahead and just step out my comfort zone and try. Now, of course, for me, I had my up and downs. I was like, through the journey, can I actually do it? Hearing other people, I'm like, what's going on with me and stuff like that. But I stuck with it. I did have to start over a couple times, but I kept coming back and still putting forth my effort. And then out of nowhere, even when I was getting a little bit doubtful still, got a email out of nowhere want to do an interview. And I'm like, okay, they put me through like 7 rounds. I'm like, I think y'all playing with me, but okay. Cause I had interviews for like 2.5 hours. I'm like, who does that? Y'all better hire me. And they hired me. Um, which was kind of a surprise, but not really. Since I went through all of that. But so far, it's been fine. I'm learning it. It's a software company. I think it's a great company, and I might actually enjoying learning it because now I actually want to help other people implement this tool because I'm like, this is actually a good thing to have. So it's just been cool. That I'm chill and I'm so happy that I'm more chill. That's all I have to say. So I thank you. And I had had my stuff going on. She's talking about do mindset. I'm like, okay, let me do this mindset. This is like holding me back. Um, got it together, and now I'm with y'all on this podcast. So that's me.
Yes, I'm so excited. So I want to first off, so any teacher listening to this, we have a guidance counselor, we have SPED, we have someone who is working as a coach, we have someone working at a private school, and then Darren, you were working in elementary school. So we literally have everybody up on this call. And one thing I also said before they got on, when I did my sales podcast, they was on 5 minutes before. Sales, they about their money, they quick. Customer success, we chill a little bit. We're like, we getting on, just give us some time. we really, really enjoy the slow mornings. We are not as stressed as the salespeople. So already we're kind of getting into customer success, but y'all are gonna kind of already see the differences. So again, if y'all did not watch the sales podcast, go listen to that. By the time y'all watch this, it should be up. And the customer success we are different. So if you all don't know what customer success is, so customer success is after the sale. So it is not sales. However, it is selling the implementation. So think about all the reluctant educators. You might even be one of them where not they got another program that I got to learn over and over. You are the person that's actually going to help the schools and school districts implement. So that's what this role is. That is what they all chose. So everybody on here is in some type of implementation role. So I'm going to open up the floor. So I get a lot of teachers, but I think I just answered the question. Everybody here did everything. So like it doesn't matter. I feel like any teacher, and y'all can kind of tell me this, because I want to really speak to the teachers listening to this right now who again, maybe they are again a guidance counselor. They've been in SPED, they've been in education for over 10 years, 15 years. I'm a PE coach. I'm in private school. I'm elementary. Am I qualified? So I'm just gonna open the floor. Y'all can raise your hand or let me know who wants to speak first. As like, what do you say to the teacher who feels like, oh, I don't think I can do this role? Like I know I've heard of customer success, but I don't really know if I can do it or not. Like I want to kind of dispel that first. So who wants to go first?
I can jump in.
Okay, we'll go Funke and then we'll go to Darian.
Um, for me, I had a friend that transitioned out of education and he's in ID, so instructional designer. So I tried that path and I was just like, I'm not as good as he is at what he does, but I need to get about the classroom. So again, I came across Jazz's TikTok. And for me, for anybody that is even considering it, she does the hard work for you. It's like, it's kinda like a fast track, like, she speeds it up for you because 'cause I'm trying to do the research on my own, I'm like, "I don't know what the hell I'm oops. I don't know what I'm talking about, I don't know what's going on." So, with Jazz, she does the hard work for you. If you trust the process, it's an investment, of course, but if you trust the process, she literally breaks it down to you to where you understand. She gives you examples. I mean, from the beginning to the end, she prepares you. And I suffer from imposter syndrome. I'm 7 months in the game, and I still suffer from it sometimes. But she literally equips you with everything that you need, especially the confidence aspect of it. It's just not. She's there with you. Through the entire process. So for anybody that thinks that they can't do it, Jazz doesn't wanna hear that. Anybody can do it, no matter your background, and her program, her coaching style, it basically gives you the confidence even if you're lacking, and she gives you the tools, the necessary, like I said, support that's needed to make that transition and that leap. So again, if anybody's out there that is reluctant in doing so, trust the process, trust her. You have 5 beautiful, women on this call right now that trusted the process. We can attest that she knows what she's doing. There's success in what she does, and like I said, I'm a believer, and you all should join in so y'all can enjoy this freedom as well. So
And by the way, y'all, I ain't tell them to say any of this stuff. Am I telling them to stop? No, but I didn't tell them to say anything about this. But if y'all just heard Bunke, like you are confident, you are capable of being not confident. We can get you confident, but you are capable of doing all these roles. Raise your hand if y'all want to go back to the classroom. If y'all are listening, nobody raise their hands. Wanted to just say that. And I don't think anybody ever even thinks of like, oh, the classroom is easier because it's not. Like this role may sound, especially if you've never heard of customer success, you're looking up job descriptions, it's very easy to psych yourself out. I know a lot of educators are just so used to doing what they like you're experts in what you do. So the idea of like learning something new, you may feel like you're starting over, but it's a lot of what you already do. And I call it like 50% less work. Darian, and I'll talk a little bit about Darian. So Darian did work with me for a while, but it's okay. I always say it's okay as long as you keep going, as long as you keep going. And if Darian, I'm telling you, if Darian can get it, y'all can get it. So talk a little bit about from the classroom to what you do. Like for the teacher who's like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. What do you have to say to them, Darian?
I have to say, if you're thinking about joining like this program, just go ahead and do it. Don't be scared about it because she like just like she the lady who just said, I'm sorry. Got my words all messed up.
Okay.
She prepares you for everything. What I'm doing right now, there's not one thing that she did not prepare me for. I'm seeing kickoff call, discovery call. I know all of this. But before I got my role, yes, I had my doubts. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm doing these six-figure sheets. I'm like, I can't market myself. I can't sell myself. I'm trying to practice, messing up, can't get it right. But now that I'm in the role, I'm like, I can do all of this. This is not it's not hard. It's really not hard. It's just about talking. It's about, calming yourself down because as a teacher, you talk all day. You're teaching people all day, explaining stuff. That's all you're doing. Is it new information? Yes, you just have to learn it. But once you get that down, you got it. And this is coming from me because I'm always in my emotions. I'm like, I can't do this, blah, 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 putting myself down. And since I'm in my role, I'm like, I was tripping. I was tripping. I was doing the most. I was being a negative Nancy. I did not have to be like that. I didn't because it's not even hard. So I just have to say for anyone who was like thinking about it, just go ahead and do it because you can do it all and probably do it better than some other people because it's not hard. Um, that's just that's what I have to say. I think just do it. Just try. And I promise you you would be like, "Wow, I was in education for this long. I could have been doing this for the longest because this is way better. I can think. I have better opportunities to like have a better work-life balance, all of that. So just try. Just give it a chance. I promise you, she prepares you. She does.
Now you know how I feel about that word try. We just gonna do it over here. So yes, try, but I want you to like I tell people, I don't know how many more people y'all need me to bring on this podcast to show y'all that literally you can do this work. But I do know what happens to a lot of teachers is they want so badly to get out of the classroom. They see, they maybe come on this podcast, okay, they are able to do it. But then there is work to get there. There is work. Most of it is going to be in your mind. I always say the mind makes the money. But I'll kinda open the floor again of, like, what do you say what do y'all wanna say to the teachers? Like, give them some words of wisdom as far as the process. A lot of teachers are like, "Okay, I know I've interviewed before. I know how to interview. I don't need anything help." Or, "Okay, I looked up the description. I know I've always gotten jobs by myself. I don't need help." Even though we're saying that customer success is easier than teaching and it really is just different things, a lot of teachers just don't understand like the work required to get into it. They're like, okay, learn like most of on my podcast lately, I'm like, y'all need to learn the actual roles. A lot of people are going to these interviews trying to just throw in, I call it word salad. Like, oh yeah, I know retention and reducing turn and blah, 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 blah. But I guess what do you all say as far as like what were your biggest mindset shifts when it came to like I guess your light bulb moment of okay, what do I need to actually do to get this job? Amelia, I do want to start with you just because I know like when Amelia was like, I'm getting this job, I was like, you know what? And I told everybody, I was like, listen, someone got their resume and they said they're getting a job. Why don't y'all feel the same way? So what was your light bulb moment and anything that pops up? And anyone can go after that. Just like raise your hands right now.
Well, I'm laughing because before I found you, I told Jazz when I started with her that a year prior, I was already thinking about transitioning into customer success. And I thought, just like everybody else, that I could do this, that all I gotta do is change this, this, and that. I know what I'm talking about. And I actually was applying to things. And then I had one interview that I bombed, of course, because I had no idea what they were asking me. And then actually have to say that now that I'm here and know exactly what I'm doing, and now I'm officially in the role, um, somebody brought up that same company up the other day just because they were partnering with them for something. And I was laughing because I thought, oh my gosh, like that was the company I interviewed that I bombed my interview with. But I just thought that was like a full circle moment. And then when I started with Jazmyne, I, in the beginning was like, okay, this is great. This is a lot. I had step by step everything I needed to do, learning about how to like market myself, everything. And then it wasn't until that resume moment that I sent in my resume, she looked it over, I get it back, and I looked at it on my phone because wasn't home. And when I opened it up, I was like, we're about to secure the bag. And I literally, at the next one on one call with her, I was like, I'm about to get a job. And she started laughing immediately. And I confidently my family was asking me, like, how's that going? And I was like, I'm going to get a job. And they're like, okay, this is great. And I felt so confident. That was my light bulb moment where I felt like, no, I definitely know what to do, how to market myself. I know these skills. I was able to see like, oh wow, a lot of these skills are transferable. These are things I already do. They just look a little different. They're like in a different world. So although this past week I was like, oh my gosh, again, because it's a new world, it's something new. We're comfortable with what we knew. We're experts in the other world we lived in. But now, this week I had to remind myself, like, no, 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 no. Like what you have on paper is also what you can do in real life. So don't like give yourself grace. You're gonna learn and you're gonna get it. So
Yes, one thing about the customer success early, so, like, number 1, I feel like you all do have a lot of empathy for self and others. I'm happy that y'all are putting yourselves first now, but with customer success, like, the role itself, like we said, it's really the same thing you're doing for students, except they don't work with students directly. The clients are schools, school districts, etcetera. What else was I gonna say? When it comes to this is my ADHD, what was I about to say? Oh, I actually want to shift gears here. So, like, as far as the day to day, a lot of people always ask, what exactly are you doing on a day to day basis? I'm gonna jump to Keisha and then Whitney whenever she gets a moment of like, what does it actually look like on a day to day basis? Like, what are you actually doing? Like, how are you spending your time? And I love Keisha to go next because Keisha, I remember she came to me, she's like, I just want to be able to go see my daughter during lunch. And I remember she sent me a picture. She's like, me and my daughter, I brought her some Chick-fil-A. Like, that was a beautiful moment. I think even, like, I think it was your first day, like, I love your husband and your daughter just kiss you goodbye. You're like, "Yeah, I'm home."
Yeah,
Like,
it was they're just ugh, I
talk
adore it.
about
I
your
do.
day-to-day,
I
girl.
love my life ever since starting this role. But just day to day as you have some client facing like partner meetings. So that can either be where we're at right now, I guess in the cycle is like end of year. So we're going over their stats, going over the data, how many times have they used our product in the I guess in that sense? How are they feeling about the partnership? Are there things they want to change? Things like that. As we get closer to the beginning of the school year, it's more hardcore implementation at that point. So now my client facing meetings are going to be a little bit more like, all right, cool. How are we going to roll out to your students? How are we going to roll out to your educators, to your families? But like ultimately, it really is, I guess the best way I can put it is like corporate coaching, corporate teaching is like my everyday life now. So we're talking with partners, answering questions, you're sending emails, you might occasionally hop on a call. You got internal meetings. Like it really is you're talking, but I would not equivalent it to I'm teaching a 45 or an hour and a half long class 5 times in one day over the same thing. And then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna have a practice plan and I'm gonna run a 2-hour practice. And then I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna get about an hour of time with my family before I have to go to sleep and wake up and do it all over again. Like that is not the cycle anymore. And it is very much relaxed. Like there is work to be done, meetings to be had, tasks to be checked off. But the every day to day, when you look at it, compared to what we're used to, minuscule. Honest and
No.
truthfully, the what is required of you, like your mental bandwidth, minuscule compared to, I guess, where we are all coming from that burnt out teacher sense, you know? So
Yeah.
you want me to talk to a few people 30 minutes, 45 minutes out the day, I can do that for you, you know?
Yes, yeah, so I feel like some people ask me like, "Oh, I'm so overstimulated, do I have to talk to people?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you're gonna talk to people, but
Thank
it's not the same type of people, like, in the education world." Like, I always tell people when I'm stressed, I just close my laptop and I go to Chick-fil-A because it's just talking to people on a laptop. Whitney, while you still with us, you wanna talk about your day-to-day of your life. And now I will caveat Whitney, I had to tell her to slow her behind down. I think almost every well, I think everyone is okay, but I know I had to tell Whitney to slow her behind down because I tell every teacher, you are naturally going to come into a role and see things that other people don't really quickly. And it's very easy for you to show your cards. Oh, I know how to do everything. I know how to help everybody. But it's like, give yourself grace. You don't need to be doing all that at once. So, Amelia, if I didn't tell you that,
Uh,
make sure you slow
so
yourself down.
we're working to slow
Darian, slow
down.
yourself down just in case you are going fast.
What the
You don't need to be
heck?
doing everything.
Can you
Like
hear me?
your 50% are people
What about
don't
now?
ever get there. So that is one thing
Can y'all
I
hear
always
me?
tell my clients, like, give
Oh
yourself
god.
grace and slow down. Whitney, I
Ugh.
hope you'd have slowed yourself down, but give us a day-to-day of what life is like
Can
as a
you hear me
CSM.
now? Can you hear me now?
Wait, I can't hear you now.
Oh.
No. Don't it's okay. S- Find a way to get back on audio. Even if we can't see you, I want to be able to hear you. So figure that out and come back. Um, we'll come back. Let me know whenever you get ready to talk, just say something and we'll go to you. But I'm gonna open the floor to any thoughts that come up that I have not mentioned so far when it comes to the reluctant educators who everything we said, I'm burnt out, I'm tired, I want more for myself, I want to put myself first, but then they have that but. They have that fear of the unknown of I'm not sure how I'm going to, be in corporate. I'm not sure all those things. Whitney, can you talk? Yes. Go ahead,
Yay!
talk. Go
Okay.
ahead.
I'm sorry, y'all. I had a power outage earlier, and it's
Don't
just been
apologize, just start talking.
ever since. Okay, so by the end of the day, um, I have mine's a little bit different, Keisha. I have way more meetings. But my company also runs a little bit more like a startup, so it's a little bit more is very fast paced. It's very, very fast paced. Luckily, I have a great team behind me. So working like anytime I have a day where I'm just like, I don't know, this is for me. Like, what did I do? Like maybe I don't know. I swear to you, I get on a call and my supervisor or one of my program managers or whoever I'm working with, they just always make it better because they love to collaborate and they're very growth mindset oriented and they make the work really fun and really meaningful. And even though a lot of them are not educators, they still have a passion for helping schools and helping students and for education and what we're doing and the services that we provide. Um, but so for me, day to day, because they're on California time, I've learned that I start my day on East Coast time. So then I can get all my stuff done in that little 3 block of time, little 3.5 hour of time, maybe even 2.5 hours of time before the emails and the Slack messages start flooding in and I can just breathe. I don't have to hear a student every 2 seconds. I don't have to hear anything except for my music and my dog, and that's it. So I knocked that out. By that time, everyone on that side of the world has woken up and I start responding to them. We have a lot of meetings. It can be internal or external. Right now we're in that renewal season and then also planning for summer because we provide summer supports. So it's kind of cranked up right now. But yeah, every day is kind of like that. It's a lot of emails, a lot of follow-ups, a lot of let me look at the data over here. Let me figure out, we review what we have going on here so I can present this to this stakeholder or this partner over here. Just being on top of it as far as like thoughtful questions to ask them because we are in that renewal time. And like Jazmyne said, I have had to slow down a lot because I did come in with the teacher mind that we
Yeah,
have
hot.
where it came in real hot and heavy. I mean, on the bright side, I have made a lot of progress and I have helped inspire a lot of change, a lot of needed change. However, I had to slow down. So between Jazmyne telling me to slow down and my therapist reminded me, both on a therapeutic note and on a spiritual note, this is a time to just like enjoy it. Like enjoy being just here. You don't have to rush in and fix and do. Take your time. And so I've been working hard to do that now. But that's why I said earlier, like I was stressed, but it wasn't because of them, it's because of me. I was stressing my own self out. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty much how it is. I can leave and take a walk when I want, have a little lunch when I want. have my music playing like I want. I ain't gotta worry about the kids. I can play what I wanna hear. And at the end of the day, when I pick up my son from school and we come home and do our schoolwork and stuff, even though, like, I won't say I'm technically on the clock, but my programs and things are still running on that side of the world, I can just
Mhm.
glance, "Okay, see a message, boom, alright, it's for tomorrow," but I'm with my son now. I'm not fighting traffic to get home. I'm not fighting falling asleep driving to get home because I'm
Mm.
exhausted. I'm just with my boy and with my husband and my dog, so it's nice.
So is your work was it more work in the classroom or more work what you doing right now?
I think it's more work in the classroom for sure because I have way more hats in the classroom. I'm having to hold your mama, your daddy, your grandma, your auntie, the principal, the school director, the student, my co-teacher, all y'all's emotions and things and all this stuff. All this
Mhm.
stuff. Whereas my partners, yeah, they may be unhappy about something, but at the end of the day, you invested in this. And so when I show up as the professional that I am and smooth out the situation, you're good. As long as helping you, like I'm helping my team provide this service the way that needs to be provided, then we're good. And if some of them, yeah, they may be hard to work with, but we've all had hard parents. I think harder. I haven't met a person who is tougher than the toughest parent or child that I've worked with, honestly.
Ooh.
And the
Oh,
one that was that kind of hard, she's already my bestie. So, because if
Mhm.
I have that experience, you're gonna like me. You're gonna be happy. You're gonna like me. So now she likes me, and now we're like that.
stick with Amber. So by the way, Keisha and Whitney, they are 2 of the 4 of my coworker pairs. So in this program, whenever people get interviews at a company where I'm like, "Oh, so and so works there. You need to connect with them." Keisha actually, I saw the selfie. I was like, "Yes, got a selfie together." Amber is my friend in real life, and I told Amber, I was like, "Listen, Whitney there, you need to get with her because she doing too much. She doing team too much." So how was that? I'll talk a little about that, and then I am gonna go back and open the floor of, like, words of wisdom. So I feel like, Bunkay, you can really speak to everybody who's, like, scared, 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 because you did it scared. I don't calling you out, you gonna go after them. So don't hide. But Whitney and Keisha, how was that just even being able to have, like, a built-in coworker? Like, how was that?
It was honestly amazing. It was pretty awesome getting to meet her in person because, you had me reach out over the WhatsApp and she provided so much helpful just advice, I guess you would say, on making that transition and making that move. And then I ended up joining a completely different team, but that on site that they gave us the opportunity to just kind of sit down and meet each other and share each other's stories. And then I was like, "Hey, Dr. J told me to tell you that we have to take a picture before I leave." And so,
Like
she's
somebody mhm.
awesome. My pair, she's amazing. I genuinely would probably have never met her if it was not for the program, to be honest with you, because she lives on the completely opposite side of the world. So, it was pretty awesome getting to meet her and just, sharing that bond of understanding, like, we have such big hearts and we have such big aspirations. And when you are limited to the walls of a school and you want to fix all the problems there, but you also want to fix all the problems in the world and just choosing yourself and seeing what that looks like in someone else's life and seeing that just copied and pasted and on so many different levels with so many different, beautiful women educators and, you know, that teacher guilt, like you say. I'm not gonna lie, I never had teacher guilt. My kids knew that about me. I loved them. I did. I loved them so much, but they knew, no, I'm not gonna feel bad saying
Good.
have a great
Out.
summer. Coach, are you gonna miss me? No, I'm not. But I love you though, and I wish you the best in life. But, just having that person to lean on, I guess, if things got hard at the company, but the company we work for is honestly so great that I don't necessarily need to lean on her in that way, but to know that I have a sister in arms is great.
Aw. Whitney?
I would say the same. Before Amber came on, um, I didn't really realize it until she started. I was like, man, I felt like I was kind of on an island. 'Cause I and then when she came, it was like, Oh, a familiar face. Okay, God. I just feel so much better. We have set time where we meet up for like coffee dates. And we'll just get on like Zoom and just talk because she's in Orlando. I'm in Atlanta. Our next one we said we're gonna walk. To help me get out the house. And just like have another time just to just vibe, like talk about what's going on, just whatever. It feels good to have that. It almost feels like if I were to compare it to something familiar for us, like if you had that co-teacher in your class and you know no matter what goes on outside this classroom door, in these hallways or around this campus, I have my person in here, especially if you locked in. It just feels good to know, like, I have Amber here. Amber is friends with Jazmyne. Jazmine's my girl. Like, we went through the same process. We understand it. We speak the same language. We're learning together. I know I can easily text her. She'll text me, and yeah, it feels nice. It feels nice. It's like I didn't know her before this, but she still feels like a familiar face, if that makes sense.
Yay!
Yeah.
And then everybody y'all are not in there. So everybody who is in my program who joined now, so make sure y'all don't wait. There is another side. So I have a coworker group chat where people still get to be connected. So like when you join these companies, I give them the kind of speech. I don't trust all the coworkers. I really don't. I remember me when I first joined my first company, I blocked everybody on social media. I'm like, I don't know y'all. What you doing this weekend? Nothing. Staying at my house? Nothing. You going out of town? No. So I like being able to like have a trusted coworker. So in this program, people if they work at the same company, they have that, but you also have that group chat after you get your job where you can ask all your work related questions. So make sure y'all use that. So I'm gonna close out, but I'm gonna be asking people individual questions because I know everybody here can speak to different things. Boomk, I want to start with you. The most reluctant people who are just scared, 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 scared. And with you now also being 7 months, you're like the longest in your new role. What do you say to that person who was like scared, 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 but they for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure wanna get out of the classroom?
I would just tell anybody that's reluctant, um, we're naturally good at what we do. We're problem solvers. As educators, we are masters at what we've done for many years. 16 years in the game for me. I'm like, I can do this with my eyes closed. Teacher of the year finalist for the district, you name it, training people. But again, it was just, I'd gotten complacent. I knew I could do it, and honestly, I went and got my master's. I'm like, "I don't wanna be no admin. I ain't trying to be no principal." Like, that was a waste of my time and energy. No, it wasn't, but it was still an accomplishment for me, but after I realized, I'm like, "I don't want that responsibility." Barely have time for myself, my husband, my kids, my dog, everything in between. That's not the avenue that I wanna pursue. So for anybody that is reluctant and you're looking for change, change may be scary. Change is very scary. I feel like I'm old. So me going into a whole different realm, a whole different avenue for me was scary. And Jazz basically told me, like, you got some serious issues that you need to first unwind before you even, transition into this new opportunity. And I was in denial, the entire time. Trust the process. Um, change is inevitable. But if you trust the process, you believe in yourself, you believe, in Jazz's process, the results speak for itself. There's a lot of work, not just with CSM. Like I think it was more of a personal journey for me, not just in the educational aspect of it or, the corporate world. It was me discovering a lot of different things about me, where did my fears lie? Was it really in changing occupations or was it something that stemmed deeper than that? So again, this was a journey for me. And I didn't start interviewing because Jazz wouldn't let me because I kept running from the interviewing process. But I didn't start interviewing until we started in what, March, April. I started finally, I'm like, okay, like screw it. Just get this over with. I'm not in the mood. You're gonna get what you get. Leave me alone so I can start, interviewing. So she did. She's like, you did fine, you're ready. I was like, that was it. She's like, yeah, that's it. I'm like, you should have said that. But anyways, started applying. I was sitting in summer school looking at these kids do God knows what. I'm like, this is my last year doing summer school. I taught summer school 15 years. I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I refuse to do this. So I'm sitting there as the classroom's on fire, applying for jobs, and I get like a ding back like within a couple of days, and I'm nervous. I'm like, this isn't real. And I text Jazz, she was like, "You should be excited." But again, it was just that fear of the unknown. Like, can I do this? Am I an imposter? Like, I know my resume speaks for myself. I know I can do it. It says I can do it on paper, but can I truly do this? Needless to say, I made it to like the last round, didn't get it. I was pissed, y'all. I'm like, I'm not doing this. You know what? I'm gonna teach summer school another year. I'm not tripping. Jess was like, "No, you're gonna keep applying." I'm like, "Okay." So second week of summer school, applied another time. And again, if you listen to my podcast, I talk about this whole process. It was just again, just fear and Jazz just kept I'm gonna tell you, my support system was amazing. My kids were like, I have a 26-year-old, 20-year-old, and a 12-year-old, and they believed in me more so than myself. And I'm like, if they think that I can do something like extraordinary, and I'm teaching them to go out here and be fearless. Why can't I do the same? So they hype me up. My daughter would send me my song every time it was time for an interview. She's like, "Go in there and nail it." So again, just the support system, trusting in yourself, believing the process. You can do anything that you put your mind to. Again, you may look at it like that's too much, or it's an investment. If you truly are serious about getting out, some people are successful doing it. I know I interviewed in June. I got my offer in August. So I don't think that the process would have been that fast without Jazz. So if you're having any fears, any doubts, that's a part of the process. Go through it, glow through it, and you can be sitting in our position as we
I
speak.
love that. So it's like there are no challenge list journeys. I'm glad that you touched on like because there are some people who like, okay, but I really don't believe in myself and I really don't trust myself. Like you talked about you borrowed the belief from your daughter, from your support system. So if anything, if you all don't have that support system, borrow the belief from these ladies right here. Like it is possible for you to do it. You all do much more work in the classroom.
And I
Much.
also wanna add, everybody is not going to understand your journey. There are gonna be people that are gonna try to talk you out of this. There are gonna be people that are gonna discourage you. There are gonna be some naysayers. "Why are you doing this? This is the only thing that you know." For me, I know I've sent this to my best friend and she feels some type of way, and I don't care. I didn't even confide in her about it because I did not it was already a nerve-wracking process. I'm just like, if I tell people, it's just like, "Are you sure you wanna do this?" I'm already having doubts as is, so I needed to block out all negativity, any type of doubt, that I was already, experiencing. I didn't want it, from the outside. So, everybody is not gonna understand your journey as well. Um, just stay the course, um know that, at the end of you know what your goal is, you know what you're trying to accomplish. Just like I said, just surround yourself with positivity, believe in yourself, and you're gonna have some, the ebbs and flow of the entire process. Trust the process. It works, I promise. That's it.
Imma jump to Darian without saying too much. Darian, I know you had some people because 'cause I'm glad you said that, Funke. There are gonna be some haters because I had a friend myself where I told her about my job offer. She's like, "Oh, I don't think you should take it." And I was like and now she's trying to be my client, but that's okay. That's alright. It's okay. But there are people who are not gonna believe it. It can be in your own circle. It could be not just friends, it could be family. So, like, there are people who are not that could be, like, doing this, that could be, like, rooted. It could be more than just you trying to get this job. It could be something like, "Oh, dang, like, do I actually believe myself? Because maybe I've had people who told me that maybe I wouldn't." So, I know during we did a lot of work where I feel like it was really I feel like a part of it was other people, but it was also, like, kind of you believing other people. So, like, how were you able kind of overcome that. Because when I tell y'all Darian was fighting through, like, she was in her video recordings and she's like, "Oh," she was so frustrated, but she just kept doing it, she kept doing it. How did you keep doing it when that self-doubt was still a little bit there? Because you don't have to have 100% self-belief. Now, I believe it'll be easier if you do believe it, but you still always have that little tiny bit. But, like, how did you still do that not on 100% of belief? Or maybe you did get there. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Um, it was more so it wasn't an option to give up. Like I had my doubts and everything, but I had to keep going because I've come this far. I've already stepped out my comfort zone, joined the program. Like I'm already in it. So I might have to just see this through. And from who I have as my support system, he was like, "Come on now, like you can do it." I had to vent to him a lot and, talk a lot of things through. And he would give me words of encouragement like, "I know you can do it. I know you're frustrated. I know it's something, different coming from education." And then just like my mindset on other things that were also was like bothering me. Um, just venting about it to the right people though. It has to be to the right people because like as you said, there's people out there you can say, "Hey, I'm trying to do this." "Oh, why you doing that?" Like you need to just go ahead, stay in teaching, retire in it, you t whatever. Whatever they talking about, I'm like, "You can stay in this and be miserable for another 15 years. I'm not doing that." You can have that mindset and be like, "I'm just gonna hop whatever you got going on, I'm not doing it." Okay? So that's why I just continue to pursue it, but I didn't tell people like that. I might have mentioned it once, got some reactions, kept it to myself, and only told people in my family and kept it moving. So they don't know what I got going on. They in the school right now in the classroom. I'm doing my own thing. So, I'm not teaching, I'm not frustrated like y'all. But anywho, just me not allowing myself to give up. I did have some times where I would take a break. I wasn't proud of those breaks, but I look back at it like I didn't just completely give up. I came back, I kept putting my effort into it, and then eventually I continued to make progress. Um, I'm just talking to the right people, talking to the right people. And and sometimes not as much. I might have like a little doubt, but it is gone within like 5 minutes. I'm like, let me just stop. Just, stop all that. Don't even try to get deep into it. You got it. I'm good. And keep it moving, you know? Um, I would just
I
say
love
keep your
it.
business to yourself. Um,
Yes.
pretty much.
Yes. And the good thing is, so y'all join this program. I kicked all the men out because one, men don't listen, number one. And then number two, you all get to have a beautiful space of women. So like I tell people, leave the teachers lounge and just come talk to the people. One philosophy I have, I don't listen to nobody who's not making the money that I want to make the way that I want to make it. So I don't listen to nobody for free unless like I'm looking at their life and they have what I aspire to be. Because there are a lot of people who are unhappy. And what happens is when they see you doing a challenging thing, they may be projecting on you. They be like, oh, girl, it's hard to leave. I tried. Or why do you want to do that? You've been in education for all this time. Like they're putting their fears on you and you can dust them off. Like you can just literally, quite literally dust them off because a lot of the people who are giving you the advice, they are in education for 20, 25 years and they have no plans of leaving. I call it in the most loving way possible, teen cry and stay. They all they want to do is complain about their jobs. So if you have those teacher lounge people, if you want to get out of the teachers lounge, get number one, get out of the teachers lounge and you want to be around people who are where you want to be, not where you're trying to leave. And that can be in all different capacities, but that's what I want to touch on. All right, I'm going to ask a couple more questions. We can wrap up. But Amelia is on the other side. So, Amelia, you were not a veteran teacher. You went straight to being a counselor. So you have the opposite side. And I know you were an athlete. I know also Whitney is an athlete. So maybe talk to the people who are like young bumpkins. Oh, I'm getting out. I'm doing this. Like, what was your mindset? Like, I know you said the resume, but like, what internally was in your brain of I'm doing this, and like, how did you like continue? Not even pushing through, but you were moving through. Because I know you had when we were doing the interview practice, I still kept everybody who the once everyone gets in a fight with me a little bit, like, what else do you want? I'm like, oh, you about to get a job. So tell us your mindset and what you say that people who are I call y'all the young bumpkins, you can do things. Like how did you translate that into this journey?
Well, I just wanted to add, based on everything you guys said, the one thing I always live by is don't take advice from someone you wouldn't trade places with. So that is something I always say. If I'm not in a room that I'm not learning or I can't reach my goal, then I don't want to be there. So I just let it go in one ear, out the other. When somebody says something, I'm always like, oh, thanks. and I carry on like all the time. That's something I live by all like heavily. So when you said, Jasmine, about people projecting as well, that is so true. And I just kind of just sit there and I'm like, oh, okay. And then of course they end it with like, but if you're happy, girl, and I'm just like, I am. Go have a good day. I don't know. So so yeah, I just wanted to add that because when you guys were talking, I was like, "Ugh, that I have to share that the thing I live by, and that's the quote I live by. So um okay. Sorry, I had ADHD right there for a minute, but now I'm trying to remember exactly
Well,
what you were
say
asking.
whatever you want to say to the people who are I would say you're in my young bumpkin category of like you were like, I'm not because there's the side of like, okay, I've been here for a little while. I think most of us
Mhm.
are veterans. And you were like, I'm not about to be no veteran person in this game.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
What do you say to those people who like saying all that? I tell people they be talking cash money, but they don't cash their checks. How did you cash your check and actually do the thing that you said you were gonna do?
Yeah. So I come from a family of like educators. My mom was a principal. And throughout the years, especially growing up, I always got the, are you going to be your mom? You're going to be a principal? And at first, for a while, I was like, nah. And then when I went into my school counseling job, um, I noticed I love being a school counselor, but I noticed I had some leadership skills too, my mom. So then, of course, I was playing all hats. And then people were asking me, I remember specifically before I moved from Florida as well, people were trying to convince and encourage me he would be a great principal. And I then started thinking about it. But then, you open your phone and you're like, how much debt I'm in with student loans. I was like, I have no desire to do that when also like for what money? Like at the end of the day. And my mindset is just I noticed I'm just different. I just noticed I was different. The world is changing. I think that's also the other big thing I have to say. Unfortunately, in a good way, there's a lot of great things is changing because clearly I'm in this role now. So it's pushed me to be better. But for educators that are new, it's not the same or what it used to be. And my mom even says that because she's a principal. She teaches college students still that are like student teaching. And she says, I feel so bad for you guys because you guys are in this field that's not the same anymore. And she also says till this day, she's like, I'm so happy I retired when I did. And, lucky for her, right? But I told her, I was like, wow, I just went through all of this for what? And then she's like, no, 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 no. You didn't go through all this for nothing because now you can do anything. And you have way more skills than that paper degree that you have. So she said, she was actually the one who encouraged me for your program. And I then realized as I like move forward in my career, obviously in the past year, I also moved here to Florida because I'm from the Northeast. So not only did I start a new job, but right when I started the new job, then I found Jazmyne, and I already knew that I was already thinking about this transition. I was just like, we gotta go. Like, we gotta move. Like, also, there's a difference in states of like the career and stuff. So I noticed a lot of differences and also pay. And that was also crazy because when I came down, I basically went back to like almost my year one. And I just already was like defeated. Like, I remember, and I live by myself. I'm making as me. I packed up my car. I moved down here to Florida. And I just thought, at first, the first few months, I was mentally not okay. She told me to go to therapy too, and and I did it, but I knew I was burnt. She's like, Amelia, can I tell you something? And I'm like, no, I'm scared. And she's like, you love stress, and I was like, I do not. And it was like almost like an argument. She's like, yeah, you do. And then I was like, oh my god, I feel so exposed. I called out, and then she was like, you need therapy. And I also went through therapy and it was super helpful. But I was also like struggling and I realized like, wow, our world is changing so fast and I do want a family one day and I was already thinking, my family's calling me from up north like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I'm really close to my mom and I remember just breaking down a few times like, I don't know how like I don't know like this isn't fair like I like I don't have a husband like other friends here do. Like they have at least another partner. Like I'm here by myself. She's like, oh no, we're not playing this card. Like you could do it by yourself. Like you need to like give it a few months. Like, and I was like, I can do it by myself, but you know, it's just like the spiral. Like I just kept going. Um, and I was really burnt out physically as well. I mean, now I'm not. I have my nails done. I put lashes on. Like, who am I? Like, people have said even when because I also am a co-founder of a run club here. So when I go, even everybody at run club, they're like, your mental health, physical health, everything is a complete switch, like since the fall. And I was like, I know. And it feels so good to hear and it's really appreciative. But yeah, I would say life is too short and just no, don't get defeated. I spoke to somebody else who shared with me that they're actually in their program, like to be a school counselor. And she asked me, and I said, well, I'm not going to sugarcoat, but I'm also not going to. That's something you need to figure out yourself too, because I am very passionate in what I do. I just do it differently now. And it doesn't mean just know that whatever you decide in the future, it never goes to waste. But life is too short. So I want you to think about like, what do you even want your day to day life to look like? Why are we sitting here at the school? Like daydreaming about the life we want when we can have the life we want. And you know, we go back through this cycle of like, oh, but I love this, I love that, I can't leave. And it's like, but then your mind is constantly thinking about all these things like, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I just thought like, why am I scrolling on TikTok watching people live their best life when I know that I can live my best life as well? um and I just feel like nothing is out of reach. So that's something where like my mindset has also proven that. Like I've people back at home know that I live like my mentalities. I live like a with a Mamba mentality. They know that. And I'm very like I work really hard. And back home before I moved here, I worked 3 jobs as a school counselor. I worked 2 part-time jobs. And then when I first got here, I was freaking out thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go back on this hamster wheel again and start getting another part-time job again. And I did for a little bit, but I was also behind the scenes working really hard with Jazmyne to make sure that this day is going to come and I know it's around the corner. You just have to trust the process and believe in yourself and know that nothing is ever perfect, but that you can live the life you want.
I love that. And I didn't know your mom was a principal, but also
Yes.
not telling Millie business. She's like, she didn't let not having no husband stop her. She tapped into her parental support. Okay. Ask whoever you need to ask for some money.
Uh-huh.
Really don't have whatever you need. Ask your support. Ask your
So
support.
grateful. My mom, she advocated. She was the one who said, because I said, oh, this is so much. I just moved here. Like, how am I going to make this happen? And she was like, I'm going to help you. And you can give it to me later because I know you're going to be making the big bucks. And I was just like, and she's like, don't worry about it right now. But I think this is something you should do. So,
I love
yeah,
that. I love that.
super grateful.
Yay. And I think I remember telling you, because one, there's a couple things. One, as educators, we don't realize, and I'm still working through this. So, like, burnout is not unique to education. Like, us all being high achievers, like I still get coached on this all the time, but like sometimes we don't realize what's happening. So everything I tell y'all, and one, I'm not telling everybody to go to therapy like that. It's whenever I hear certain things, I'm just like, there's something there that could be explored. Now I'm like, I could sit here and talk to y'all about it, but I want to help y'all get a job. So I'd rather y'all have somebody else who can work on that so we can, have a team. I know Funke called her therapist her homegirl. So I just want y'all to have a supporting team to get you to your finish line. That's number one. I'm not saying it like that. Two, when it comes to what was I gonna say? My ADHD. Oh, we are sometimes addicted to chaos. Like sometimes, and this also happens with my clients. Once y'all get in the job, I'm like, y'all gotta find a hobby. Y'all cannot be sitting here tasked to y'all computer all day. Like you need to find you a hobby because our brains are just so used to it. That's what I told Amelia. I was like, Amelia, you just like that. You like to be stressed, don't you? You just love stress. Like every day was
And I was stressed last week on my first week, guys. Like, I just need to say, I told my manager one on one last week. We had a meeting virtual. He's like, do you have any questions? And I was like, this is so different. I woke up in panic for the first week because I was like, I'm late for something. I have a meeting for something. I got to do something. And then I was like, wait, I don't have my first meetings now until 11. Like, what is this? And I was not used to it. It's still an adjustment, but he told me as well, like, so I don't micromanage. And if you do what you need to do and there's space like on your calendar, you don't have something. If you have a doctor's appointment, go to your doctor's appointment. If you want to do something, do that. And we also have wellness days. So this Friday is already our wellness day where the company globally shuts down. And so they were like, Friday's your wellness day, so go do whatever you want. I'm like, wow.
How did that feel? Did you have to say, "Okay, we're safe. We are good. We don't have any work to do"?
I was like, "I don't have to put, like, a PTO, like, like, this is so different." They were like, "Yeah, we don't question your PTO either, so if you wanna take a day," he goes, "I just came back from my 2 days, but, obviously, if it's more than a substantial amount of time, just let us know, but we don't like, you gotta do what you gotta do."
Yeah. I've been comparing education, like leaving an abusive relationship. And Imma keep saying it 'cause people get mad when I say it, but Imma keep saying it. I like getting people mad. But it is an abusive relationship. So, like, a lot of it like I told the last podcast, I remember telling my manager, I'm like, "Do I have to let you know when I go to the bathroom?" And she was like, "Girl, like, you are an adult." So, like, when it comes to being on the other side, like, you are going to experience a normal life. Like, what we have experienced in education is not normal. So that's also why it feels different. Alright, I'm gonna do the last round of questions. I wanna talk to my parents 'cause I have a lot of parent people who are like, "Oh, I wanna do this, but I have kids, but I wanna have my summers off. I wanna be on my kid's schedule." I want the parents to share a little thing to the parents, to talk to the parents, and then any last words of wisdom that you want to share. So literally, this is the last go round of whatever you wanna say. Talk to the parent people because that's the last people I didn't get to talk to. Parents who are listening to this, what you wanna say to them, and then anything else you wanna say. Who wants to go first? Whitney?
I could go
Oh,
first.
Keisha, then Whitney.
Hey. Yeah, to my moms. You have to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you have to love yourself enough to know that your babies deserve the absolute best version of you. That's not stressed out. That's not overstimulated. That's not completely question fatigued. And I always felt so bad because my baby would come home. And mind you, baby's been gone all day. Baby's been in her own world. So now she's coming to you and mommy this and questions and all this. And your baby deserves for you to show up and listen and for you to show up and respond and actually interact. But you can't do that when you are getting bombarded with Coach Jay, Coach Jay, Coach Jay, Coach Johnson, Coach, we need this, Coach, we need that, Coach, I have a question, Coach, I have a. You're overstimulated. Your babies deserve more than that, but you deserve to be that for your baby. And I think as moms, naturally, we're going to sacrifice a lot our mental sanity, our happiness, our physical bodies, our emotional state. Like we sacrifice a lot to ensure that the lives of the ones that we gave life to are good, are comfortable. I would be stressed out, but if I look across the living room, my daughter's got her feet up, laid out on the couch. She's got her iPad. She's twirling some snacks in her hand, and all is right in her world. And like, as a mom, we feel accomplished, right? We're like, all right, cool. My baby's safe. My baby is cared for. My baby is loved. But your baby deserves a mom that loves herself. A baby deserves your mom that wants to be here, that wants to participate in motherhood and not just be a mom, you know? And this program really sets you up for the ability to find that balance. Because at the end of the day, yes, you are mom. Yes, you are coach. Yes, you are miss. Yes, you are a lot. But it was so nice to just be Keisha and rediscover who Keisha is. Um, discover things about Keisha Keisha didn't know, like it's so nice to explore being yourself and understand that you do have a life outside of being a parent, but you'll never know who that is if you're not constantly wearing the many hats of an educator, you know? Like, it's okay to take off all the hats, to rediscover who you are so that those babies that you work so hard for get to know you for who you are and not the overstimulated, overwired, extra sensitive, extra touchy, no patience. Like, they don't deserve to see that side of you because that's not who you are. That is simply how you're reacting to your current circumstances. And you deserve to have a nervous system that is calm enough to show your children who you are. And, like, that has been the best thing about this whole situation is I can see the light. I can see
Yeah.
the light of who it is that I wanted to grow up to be, who it is, the kind of mom I wanted to be. And it was nice to, sit down and not feel rushed during reading time. It's gonna be nice to sit down and not feel like your kid has to get it right the first time because we don't have time for you to get it right 5 times later because, baby, we gotta go to bed in 20 minutes. It's nice to just sit down and enjoy motherhood and enjoy being a parent and, just watching your kid blossom. And I think that this program does a really good job of just fast tracking that because I might be biased, but I just feel like as a mom, you can do anything, and you could probably get into ed tech without the program. Is it going to take you a hell of a lot longer? Excuse me, I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss on the podcast, but is it going to take you a hell of a lot longer? Yes. Yes, it is. And you have somebody that is doing all the footwork for you, that is teaching you everything you need to know, teaching you the jargon, teaching you how to interview, how to answer what's a good answer, but what's the best answer. You have someone that's there, and you should definitely take advantage of it because it is one of those you can take them to the water, but you can't force them to drink. The amount of educators that I told straight up, I am leaving as soon as this interview comes in. Some of them believed me. Some of them saw the seriousness of my face and they were like, "Oh, okay, cool, coach." Other ones were like, "Oh, okay, and baby, if I got money for every referral that I gave to Dr. J because I was genuinely like, no, y'all should talk to my mentor. She's great. She'll get you out of here." Because there's that many of us that are burnt out. I'd be a millionaire. But the amount of them that probably acted on it, probably very little. And,
Mm.
that's their journey. That's how they decide when and where they want to get out. But like when you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you're sick and tired of trying to do it on your own, and you're sick and tired of coming home wired off the day, you have to look at what's right in front of you. And the answer's there. All the answers are there. But you have to love yourself enough to pick it up and actually put in the work. And really, the work's not that hard, baby. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you made it through college, you can make it through this. Honest and
Mhm.
truthfully. Like, I signed up October 15th. My portfolio, I think, was done by November 15th. And this is all while I'm in the middle of volleyball season because that is how much I did not want to coach another volleyball season. And I love volleyball, but I was over it. So when
Mhm.
you really mean it, the work's really nothing to you. The hardest part really was that self inner work. The hardest part really was admitting that maybe I have emotions and feelings and I should probably acknowledge them, my fine, cool. But once we got over the hump of said emotions and feelings, it all just started rolling. And
Yeah.
then just that first week alone was like an aha moment for me in my new role because my daughter came home. I asked her about her day, and I wasn't internally feeling like, "Dang, girl, finish talking so I can go relax," you know? I wasn't internally like, "All right, wrap it up," you know? And I just got to sit there and just enjoy hearing about what goes on in a 7-year-old's world, and I got to sit back and, I had the patience to teach her how to read, and I had the patience to be like, "All right, cool, we're gonna do a math minute," and just I went from having 300 students and 150 athletes to just one human being. And I let her know all my attention's on you now. Consider
Mhm.
yourself lucky. We locked in. She's probably not too happy that I said she's going to be on the next reading level compared to her classmates, but she's going to be all right. Because now I
Yeah.
got the time. I've got the time. I've got the energy. We're going to get
Yes,
it, you know?
parents, like, say they have all their energy to all these other kids, they don't have energy for their own kids. So, like, you are proof
Yeah.
of being able to do it, and you were one of the first people where I'm like, "I don't know how Keisha got this job because she has so many things going on," but I
That's
love
it.
that I hate that all the circumstances of, like, all the deaths that happened, but, like, for you to be even in a position where you were able to take time off and not have to, like, manage grief while also being at that job, like, you were able to have that ease, so I'm so proud of you
Thank
for
you.
literally doing a thing, like, you did it, we having a two-part podcast for you.
Yes,
Whitney
sometimes.
yeah, so we on 2 podcasts, Whitney, and then Funke, if you wanna say anything else, and then we are gonna close out.
Hey, I was listening to you, Keisha, and I was like, man, I know exactly what I want to say about to my moms, to my people out there. I never knew just how much you might hear me in the background. I'm sorry. I never knew just how much I was doing until I left that job. I never knew just how much I was in therapy well before Jazmyne. And my therapist would be like working really hard to help me find boundaries outside of work and make sure I'm pouring it back into myself. And because I felt constantly overstimulated. I've never in my life, I tell my sisters this all the time, I've never in my life had moments in a classroom where I physically just wanted to get out of my skin and then run across the world. Like it just felt it was insane, and then be in the car and have to drive and then pick him up and still just push all that down and then still be here for him because he deserves that. My boy deserves that. And it's not fair for him because his other little children, it's not those little kids took all my energy and they parents and they problems. It's not his fault. But same thing like you, Keisha, I just be listening to him like, okay, okay, gotta go. Oh, okay. All right, next. Okay, we gotta go to bed. Okay. And then be dead dog tired at the end of the day. And I look back, I'm like, how did I do that? I don't know how I did that, but because I'm a mom and I'm a teacher, I can do it. I can do anything. We have superpowers. But yeah. So if anyone out there who is a mommy or even an auntie or someone who is caring for a child, caring for a person, it could be a sibling who you're a caregiver, parent, caregiver, whoever, just do it. Because between that feeling right there, I may have days where I'm like, "Whew, it was a lot today at my job." Because the way they operate, I'm just like, "Whoa." But by the time I get my son from school, I'm not feeling how I felt when I was a teacher. I don't feel that way. And I'm sorry, ADHD just kicked in. Y'all passing it around. Oh, between that and then the pay, I meant to say this earlier. When you asked me my first question of why I left, I what you call it,
No,
the
no
young bum
salary, girl.
girl, I'm in the young bumpkin crew. I taught for 5 years. Right? I taught for 5 years before I became a teacher. I worked in mental health counseling, not licensed, but just like community based, right? By my last year, we got our contracts. My co-teacher has 20 years on me, but no degree. Because at the time she got grandfathered in that school because it's private, where you only had to have an associate's and you had the amount of experience, but you can be an associate teacher. I'm a lead with a master's, 5 years of experience, plus some years you considered teaching experience before I came in because of the kind of work I did with kids, right? And families. Why am I getting paid the same amount as you? And then why, when I bring it to HR, I only get barely $1,000 more? Why, when I left that position, was I barely making 50,000 a year? Why am I now making almost 90K? Okay. So if you need anything else other than that, look at your child and look at what you're trying to give your child and look at that paycheck that you could be getting. Baby, go ahead, do it. And do it.
Mhm.
Yeah, because yeah, if anything, because the way I grew up and the way I me and Jazzy talk about, I don't like being broke. I grew up poor. I don't wanna feel that way no more. I work too hard. I work
Listen.
way too hard.
And
So
I want all of y'all to go into VP, the customer success, like, there's no like, this is a six-figure career, so if y'all not making
Mhm,
100K yet, that is the only way y'all are going. Like, y'all are only going to make more money. Like, that is
mhm,
the only way. Like, I think everybody in here, you're going to see gaps in what people are doing. If you haven't I always say in 6 months, I'm not telling y'all to leave y'all job. I'm just saying, if you're not making 6 figures yet, we're gonna add that to the resume, and we're gonna look for some more jobs. Because y'all there's no reason why all y'all cannot do the same job of me doing a VP of customer success. Like, it is easy. It is easy. Let's wrap up. Funke, you want to say anything else? I know I keep calling on you. Or did you say everything about the payment?
Um, no. As a parent, my biggest flex is being able to pick up my daughter from school every day. My 18-year-old, well, 20-year-old, damn, she'll be 21. But my 20-year-old, I can count on one hand how many times I picked her up from school. And if it wasn't for a doctor's appointment or something going on, like she rode the bus, my husband picked her up, she walked home. So my very first day on the job, my 12-year-old was so shocked to see me at the school picking her up. And with the freedom that I have, all three of my kids know that anytime they need me, I'm there. My daughter is in the nursing program, an hour away from me. I go and check in on her, go have lunch with her. My son is an hour away in the opposite direction. He just came and stayed with us this week, and we hung out all week. My 12-year-old has my teacher friends call me and request lunch, so I take it to her all the time. So just the flex of actually being able to wear the mommy role, to where, like I said, I was a mommy to over 1,000 kids in my 16 years of teaching, and now can finally devote my time and attention to my own kids. My job is amazing. They give us an allotment for my mental health. They pay for my massages. They pay for my gym memberships. They pay for my counseling sessions. Um, they also give us like a monthly like debriefing thing to check on our mental. During holidays, they gave us time off to grieve our loved ones. They had a online memorial session I mean, it's just this is a whole different world for me. I feel like I'm exactly where I need to be, and it was the right timing in my life. So again, I say all that to say if you're tired, if you're burned out, even if you're not tired, expand your horizon, think outside of the box. We're amazing individuals. As teachers, we already have all these superpowers. Why not use them in a world to where we work smarter, not harder? And make more money.
Yeah.
So again, I'm enjoying this position. I'm enjoying being a mommy. I'm enjoying being a wife. I'm enjoying being a friend. I'm enjoying being Funke. I think I had gotten away from who I was in the 16 years of me teaching. I now have a newfound love for myself. I'm enjoying fixing puzzles on my lunch break, fixing Lego sets, going to the gym every morning, taking my husky on a walk. So I'm enjoying all the perks of life that I never got to enjoy. I worked 10 hour 10 hours a day at the school from getting kids off the bus to rushing mine on the bus to go take care and retrieve other people's kids off the bus to staying after school to being a jiu-jitsu mom to being a cheer mom to doing all of those things to where, like you said, where does the time go? You go to bed, you wake up to do it all over again. I wake up now stress-free. I'm able to cook my breakfast. I'm able to cook breakfast for my daughter. I'm able just to breathe and enjoy life. So I say all that to say, if you're considering it, um, you know, jazz is the way to go. She's unlocked this whole new cheat code in life for all of us. Where I
You
think
said
I
you
speak
came
for
back from?
everybody to say that. You said what?
You came back from? What
Just
your
got back
trip?
from Thailand.
Hmm.
My daughter's starting clinicals in 2 weeks for nursing. She's 20 and she'll be graduating early from college, Lord's will, and she'll be on this fast track. So I said, we just need to get away so she can refocus as well. And I'm like, don't get burned out already like your mama did. Let's enjoy some life. So I cleared my 12-year-old's attendance and we chunked deuces and went to Thailand and enjoyed ourselves. So we island hopped for a little bit. Imma add some pictures here in our circle app, but, again, I never would have imagined doing that as a teacher. Never would have had the confidence, would like you said, the teacher guilt. "Oh my god, my kids can't miss school. They're gonna need me." Baby, forget them kids. That's
Yes.
what they mamas and other educators are there for. I gotta take care of me and mine. So I say all that to say, y'all, trust the process, trust Jazz. She's amazing. And you too can enjoy, life like we are. That's all I got.
Yes, listen, money do make me a little bit happy. I don't know about the other people who lie. I do like me some money. I like me some money. And Amelia, I just like even the fact that you said, okay, I want to start a family. Like you get to like everybody can benefit from leaving the classroom. There I have not had one client who said, I want to go back. Like it only is up from here. I would love to talk to y'all all day, but I already kept y'all longer. But the customer success managers are different. We do have a little bit more emotions and feelings. I think Keisha, when she said her emotions and feelings, from the first call, I clocked her not feeling her feelings. The very first time I talked to her, I was like, oh, you don't feel your feelings, do you? So I'm so excited. So we are going to have more individual podcasts with everyone. If you want to come back on here, I'm always going to have you. Um, but yeah, for all the teachers watching this, I really, really hope that you were able to take even one little mustard seed of faith, of belief that you are capable of doing more than just a classroom. None of your experience is going to waste at all. This will be like turned into a six-figure career. And this is still just the beginning. Like I mean it when all of them are going to go to promotion if they want to. They want to go into VP customer success, they 100 million% can. So I want to thank y'all for taking time on this Monday evening to change lives. Like I already know y'all have changed somebody's life. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, I will see y'all on the next podcast episode. Yeah. All right, y'all say bye to everybody.